Hello, welcome. Going to take a look at the Xband video game modem for the Sega Genesis from Catapult Entertainment, distributed by THQ in November 1994. This is actually my second modem video. It's probably an odd thing to look at, but I showed the Commodore VIC modem earlier. That was just, for connecting online, doing some things, and downloading games. And I've talked about the Intellivision Play Cable service, but that was different. It was like a streaming service, just playing games locally through your cable service. And I also have shown the Dreamcast broadband adapter, but that came after this. So I think this is the first online gaming device for consoles, at least in North America. PC gamers were already online, but console players were not, and these games were not programmed for it. The modem did all the work. Basically just took a two-player game and made it so you didn't have to be in the same room. So this initially appears to have cost $69.95, quite expensive. I got mine in the summer of '95 and it was already down to $19.99. So much easier for a college student to afford. And it wasn't strictly just connect and play against a friend somewhere. It had a whole network service, a monthly subscription fee, came with news when you logged in, and there's also a messaging service. They called it Xmail, essentially email. You could type messages using the controller and the on-screen keyboard, but Catapult also did make a keyboard accessory, though I did not purchase that. I only subscribed for a month. I'll talk a little bit more as I go. But it was available until 1997, so it was around for a few years. And of course, you could choose some kind of like avatar to represent yourself and name yourself. It was initially only available in select markets. Like I said, I didn't get mine until almost 8 months after it launched, so then it was widely available. And throughout, like you see on the box and in the manual, the pricing is off. It's like they must not have updated any of their print materials because the prices were lower when I got it. Like this says $7.95 a month, but it was $4.95 when I subscribed. And there are a limited number of credits. Here it says 32 play credits, but my paperwork says I got 50 credits. So a lot of things changed. Price went down. More credits were available as the service, aged. Alright, so this is the manual, and as I often do, I have a blog post to go with this video if you want to get a closer look at all the documentation. I did not scan the whole manual. I scanned just the opening pages that provide an overview, so you can see what's in it. It's over 40 pages. I did not want to scan the whole thing, sorry. You can see some of the details, but of course I'm going to show you the item. But this just gives you a breakdown of what's on it. Phone jack. It does not come with a phone cord. You need it to provide that. A pass-through switch. So you could leave the modem connected to the Genesis at all the time, at all times. Even for games not compatible with it, just flip the pass-through switch and play normally. And there's a card slot. This, I guess, was for prepaid cards. I don't know if those ever came out. I never had any. Maybe for people that didn't have a credit card. It says Xband cards will let you pay for Xband services and more. Check Xband news for details. I don't recall seeing those, but they probably would have been more likely available in cities, and I lived in a small town. And then just, the cartridge, as you'll see, goes on top. It just sits in the cartridge slot, as you can see right here. Then plug in your cartridge on top. Alright. Well, there's about naming yourself. And there you go, that's the manual. It's the notice about what you can have connected. This has to go directly into the system. You can't have like a Game Genie plugged in underneath it. A quick reference card. Pretty much abbreviated first few pages of the manual. Tells you about the mailbox. And there's stats as well you could look at, how to challenge a player. So you could play people anywhere in the country, but Keep in mind, this is going through a phone line, and this is 1995, 94, 96, we didn't have broadband. At least most people didn't. I don't know if it was available yet anywhere, but phone lines, of course, not like today's phones. I don't know if landlines still have this or not, but there were long distance charges. So you could really, unless you wanted to pay long distance, depending on your phone service, you're probably only going to be playing people in your local area. I don't know if I ever played anyone outside of Connecticut. I probably did not. This is about the subscription information, and I do have post-it notes on here just to cover up some personal information, even though it's so out of date. I don't think it matters, but I didn't have a credit card at the time, so underneath there is my mother's name and credit card information. I doubt it's still relevant, but I just thought it best to cover up. So you can get a good look at this online. I edited out all the pen writing there through Photoshop, so it's all clean online. And this again shows the original cost, $7.95 a month, and if you paid for 6 months in advance, you save some money. But fortunately, I didn't go for that because I quit after a month. Yep, here's the modem itself, still in the original plastic bag. So it's basically like the bottom part. It's like a cartridge. Looks just like a regular cartridge. At least a Sega cartridge. The one I'm going to show you demo with is Electronic Arts. Their cartridges look a little different. Cartridge goes on the top, and then phone jack. Just plug in a phone cord here, and that's the pass-through switch, and the card slot. But I have nothing to put in that. Like I said, I never saw those cards. I didn't have any kind of prepaid cards. The box itself. The only other thing in here, you can see on the edges, there's facsimile signatures of the development team. I also have, I did receive a letter from Xband, and it's just about, after you subscribe, just a bunch of information. Apparently there was a profanity filter. I guess if you had young kids on there. I would have been 19, just about 20 when I got this. So I was an adult, had the profanity filter off. And this says limited to 50 Connect credits. But I never played that many games. I think I played about 30. It didn't run well for me. I think it's because of where I lived. I was far from a major city. And I was out in the hills. At the time I had this, we were just about to get cable TV service, I think. I mean, we were out there, so yeah, I didn't have a great service, so it was laggy. But I think it did run well for people, that lived in better areas. If you go to the blog entry, there will be a review from Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine you can read. They give it an 88%. They liked it. It ran good for them, just did not run good for me. So I think this is the only game I played on the service. It's all I recall playing. And of course, hockey's a fast-paced game, so if you're getting lag, it's just going to be frustrating to play because you need to make good movements to score goals, like deke the goalie. So I think I still managed to win about half my games, but it was frustrating, so I didn't keep playing. It would have been better, I guess, to try Madden, because football, of course, is a bit slower. You could let the computer catch the ball. You just got to throw it. That may have worked better. Now, baseball, there were no baseball games that supported this, unfortunately. That would have been a sport that would have worked better, because, again, it's much slower pace. So, it just goes in that slot, and then, here's my Genesis. Like so. There you go, got a stack. You can do a lot of stacks with the Genesis with various accessories. So games that supported it, for Genesis it was all sports and fighting games. So if you like hockey, football, basketball, and Mortal Kombat, you had plenty to do. I think there were 3 Mortal Kombat games, a couple Madden, a couple NHL hockey, a couple NBA Live, maybe a couple NBA Jams. And then some other fighting games, Weapon Lord, and I think Street Fighter. The Super Nintendo version, I don't think I mentioned yet. Maybe Super NES did have one that released in June 1995. The Super NES one is purple, so it's not black. It matches the system. And they had a few other games beyond the sports games. They had a baseball game, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, or Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball. A Doom game, so it had a shooter as well. And it had a racing game, Super Mario Kart. Now, my thought was that it would be hard for split screen local player games to be converted to online play because you don't want to split your screen. But Super Mario Kart, I would have thought would have had split screen. I don't know how it worked on Xband though. I never saw it in action. And the last thing I was going to show is an issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly. Not the review though. They posted high score lists in their magazine. So these are the top players each month. So it differed every month. Obviously, some people may have stopped playing, like myself. I never appeared in this magazine. I didn't play. I had about 15 wins total, I think. This person on NHL 95 in 1 month had 161 wins, which to me is insane. They must have paid a lot because they went way over their credits. And they may, I mean, if they won 161 games and lost none, then that would be good, I guess. But they probably lost some too, so they may have paid for over 200 credits. That's just a lot of games to play. And they also show NBA Jam and Madden. No fighting games here, but these were posted in the sports section of Electronic Gaming Monthly. It's called Team EGM. So you got some bragging rights. You can show your friends if you know, because no one else is gonna know who you are based on your little alias. So as I end the video, there is one little bit after I stop talking you can watch. I plugged this in. Of course, the service is no longer there, but it does display a message and play a little sound effect. It just says the game's not compatible. It'll say that even if there's no a cartridge, a supported game or no cartridge plugged in at all. It says the same thing. So it's just the message that's built into this thing. So I'll leave you with that, and thanks for watching.